Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So Shafiq, my name is Major Rani and my project number is 059213. So today I will be presenting about the International Criminal Law assignment, which is the crimes against humanity. So I will start off with the introductions. So for the introductions, crimes against humanity are widespread or systemic criminal acts which are committed by or on behalf of a de facto authority, usually by or on behalf of a state, that grossly violate human rights. Unlike war crimes, crimes against humanity do not have to take place within the context of wars, and they apply to widespread practices rather than acts which are committed by individuals. Although crimes against humanity apply to acts which are committed by or on behalf of authorities, they do not need to be part of an official policy, and they only need to be tolerated by authorities. The first prosecution for crimes against humanity took place during the Nuremberg trial. Initially considered for legal use, widely in international law, following the Holocaust, a global standard of human rights was articulated in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in 1948. Political groups or states that violate or incite violations of human rights norms, as they are listed in the Declaration, are expressions of the political pathologies which is associated with crimes against humanity. Since the Nuremberg trials, crimes against humanity have been prosecuted by other international courts, for example, by the International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia, and then the International Criminal Tribunal for Rwanda, and the International Criminal Court, as well as by domestic courts. The law of crimes against humanity has primarily been developed as a result of the evolution of customary international law. Crimes against humanity are not codified in an international convention, so an international effort to establish such a treaty, led by the Crimes Against Humanity Initiative, is currently underway. So we're moving on to what are crimes against humanity. So, crimes against humanity refer to specific crimes committed in the context of a large-scale attack targeting civilians, regardless of their nationality. These crimes include murder, torture, sexual violence, enslavement, persecution, and forced disappearance. And then, crimes against humanity have often been committed as a part of state policies, but they can also be perpetrated by non-state armed groups or paramilitary forces. Unlike war crimes, crime against humanity can also be committed in peacetime, and contrary to genocide, they are not necessarily committed against a specific national, ethnical, racial, and religious group. And then we're moving on to the crimes against humanity under international law. Unlike other human rights violations, war crimes do not engage state responsibility but individual criminal responsibility. This means that individuals can be tried and found personally responsible for these crimes. It is for prohibited acts include murder, extermination, enslavement, deportation or forcible transfer of population, imprisonment, torture, sexual violence, persecution against an identifiable group, enforced disappearance of persons, the crime of apartheid, other inhuman acts of a similar character, intentionally causing great suffering or serious injury to body or to mental or physical health. But, and then before we moving on to the jurisdiction and the uh, crimes against humanity, we will discuss about the punishment. So the subject of war crimes was addressed in much greater detail following World War II. Member of the Allied forces set up international tribunal at Nuremberg and Tokyo to deliver judgment on the criminal acts perpetrated during war. This tribunal laid down the principle which remain the foundation for international criminal law today. By 1946, the United Nations General Assembly had confirmed this principle of international law and began to create sorry, okay, we continue. Sorry for the delay. So, by 1946, the United Nations General Assembly had confirmed this principle of international law and began to create a resolution which set forth punishment for persons guilty of war crimes and crimes against humanity. So today, most war crimes are now punishable in two ways, which is death or long-term imprisonment. In order to be given one of these sentences, any instance of a war crime must be taken to the International Criminal Court. The ICC was founded on July 2002 for the purpose of bringing war criminals to trial. The power of the court is based on a treaty, and 108 separate countries support it. There are few qualifications that must be met before a case can be tried at the ICC. The crime must fall under one of the categories the court is considered to have jurisdiction over. These include genocide, war crimes, and crimes against humanity itself. These topics are somewhat broad and can include many specific offences, but one notable exclusion is any act of terrorism. And then moving on to the jurisdiction. The Crimes Against Humanity and War Crimes Act incorporates several grounds of jurisdiction. The first one is active nationally and territorial jurisdiction, which ensures Canada holds jurisdiction over crimes committed on Canadian territory and by Canadian anywhere in the world. And then passive nationality jurisdiction, which gives Canada jurisdiction over crimes committed against Canadian nationals. And then universal jurisdiction, which allows Canada to prosecute any individual present in Canada for crimes listed in the CAHWCA, regardless of that individual's nationality or where the crimes were committed. And we're moving on to the example of cases under the crimes against humanity. And then the list of people who have been indicted in the International Criminal Court include all individuals who have been indicted on any counts of genocide. crimes against humanity, war crimes, aggression, or contempt of court in the International Criminal Court. Sorry, we'll close cancel the game. Now we are back on track. So, the example of the cases, the list of people who have been indicted in the International Criminal Court includes all individuals who have been indicted on and out of genocide, crimes against humanity, war crimes, aggression, or contempt of court in the International Criminal Court, pursuant to the Rome Statute. An individual is indicted when a pretrial issues either an arrest warrant or a summons after it finds that there are reasonable grounds to believe that the person has committed a crime within the jurisdiction of the court. An arrest warrant is issued where it appears necessary to ensure the person's appearance at trial, to ensure that the person does not obstruct or endanger the investigation or the court proceedings, or where applicable, to prevent the person from continuing with the commission of that crime or a related crime which is within the jurisdiction of the court and which arises out of the same circumstances. The ICC has publicly indicted 50 people. Proceedings against 20 are ongoing, and then 14 are at large as fugitives. One is the pre-trial phase, and 5 are on trial. Proceedings against 30 have been completed. 2 are serving sentences. 7 have finished sentences. 4 have been acquitted. 7 have had the charges against them dismissed. 3 have had the charges against them withdrawn, and 7 have died before the conclusion of the proceeding against them. So for this presentation, I chose the case of Muammar Gaddafi. So Muammar Gaddafi was indicted. Sorry. Now we're back again. So Muammar Gaddafi was indicted on 27th of June 2011 on 2 counts of crimes against humanity with regard to the situation in Libya. As the leader of the revolution, the de facto head of state and commander of the armed forces of Libya, he, Muammar Gaddafi, allegedly planned, in conjunction with his inner circle of advisors, a policy of violent oppression of popular uprising in the early weeks of the Libyan civil war. Gaddafi also allegedly formulated a plan in response to the 2011 Tunisian and Egyptian revolution, whereby Libyan state security forces under his authority were ordered to use all means necessarily to quell public protests against his government. From 15 February 2011 until at least 28 February 2011, forces from government organized militias, the National Police, the Libyan Armed Forces, the Revolutionary Guard Corps, and other security services, acting under Gaddafi's orders, allegedly murdered hundreds of civilians and committed inhuman acts that severely deprived the civilian population of its fundamental rights in the cities of Ajdabiya, Baida, Benghazi, Derna, Misrata, Tobruk, and Tripoli. Gaddafi was killed in the Libyan city of Sirte on 20 October 2011, and the court terminated proceedings against him on 22nd November 2011. So I think That is all from me for the, the crimes against humanity. And we'll see. And I will see you soon in the next tajuk. Thank you.